Yes. Are you ready, Rachel? You'll have to excuse my voice. I've been dealing with allergies for about a month now. So call to order, roll call, and establish a quorum, ma'am.
Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Autumn?
Yes, ma'am.
Justin? Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Will you stand and pray with me, please? Father, we just come to you now and we just pray for your guidance. And I also pray that you would hear our prayers. Lead us in a direction that is according to your will, Father. Protect our city, protect our citizens and our people, Father. Give our staff wisdom and strength for the journey ahead of them. Father, I pray that you would bless this commission, continue to bless this commission, Father, and help us to make decisions that will benefit this city in the most positive way possible. Be with Justin. He's not here with us tonight. Again, please guide us and direct us. In Jesus' name, amen. Flag salute.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Mine.
No, it's not your bad. My bad, too. Okay. Item agenda number 4. Consideration and action on consent agenda. Do we have any discussion, commissioners? Okay. So item number 5.
Nope.
Oh, wait, sorry.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda. Approve, sorry.
I second it.
Autumn?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Pass on 5. Number 6, public appearances, petitions, communications, and personal appearances. Under Oklahoma law, the city commission members are prohibited from discussing or taking any action on items that are not on today's agenda. No one from the audience. No action. Number 7. Consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve Resolution 1-2023, a resolution authorizing OMAG, Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group, to distribute escrow account funds.
I'll let Rachel handle it.
Well, we did well for our workers' comp in 2019-2020, so because we were good kids, then we can receive back this $4,098.50. And I've actually indicated that it just goes to pay our workers' comp bill this year. If the commission feels differently, that they would rather have it just going to the fund, it's totally your choice, and I can change this to reflect that. Money in is not money out, you know.
Do what?
I said money in is not money out and vice versa, so.
I think the selection is where it needs to be. But that's just my opinion.
I don't have any issues.
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 1-2023, authorizing OMAG to distribute the escrow account funds into the workers' compensation.
Second.
Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Autumn?
Yes, ma'am.
Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Hello.
You're welcome.
Item agenda number 8, consideration, discussion, and possible action to extend the contract with Grant Scribe through January 11, 2024, and allow the city manager to sign the renewal of contract as approved by city attorney. Any discussion?
We've had Grant Scribe for just under a year. I think next month will be a year. The contract's in your packet. Well, it was signed January 11th of '22. We paid about $9,500 to Grant Scribe. There's one grant outstanding, which is the NEH grant for the library, and that'll be awarded later in the year, or the decisions will be made later in the year. They were not successful on the other grants.
So, my question, I think I already know the answer to it after reading the agreement, but if we decide not to go with them and use that money elsewhere, it will not affect the decision of the National Endowment for the Humanities, which would be for the library.
That's correct.
I'm not complaining about, I'm asking the questions about, I'm not saying we don't need a grant writer, but I also see what our city staff has done with grants. And I'm not sure we got back our money, just asking those questions. But I wasn't here when that decision was made and what was said, so.
I think what you're saying is we're still able to write grants, and we've received some that have been written not by Grant Scribe, is that correct?
Yeah, we receive them every year. I think there's 80, I wrote 98,000 or something.
Yes.
We've
And
been able to achieve not with Grant Scribe, and the
Yeah, that's just
avenues that
staff.
we've tried to take with Grant Scribe have not.
And that's not any different than any previous year, really.
I mean, just looking at the library, I mean, because that's the one Grant Scribe has, had more effect on. I mean, Jennifer Hudson has written, she's already been awarded $3,000 and waiting on a $50,000. I mean, that's kind of going above and beyond, as well as all the other grants that we've been awarded, written specifically by staff. And we're waiting on a slew of grants written by other staff and volunteers.
I think when it was originally thrown out there, the thought was they would find more opportunities than we could find, and I don't think that that has been the case.
I don't think it was a new point to try it at all.
Right.
I don't think that's not my opinion at all. I'm just saying,
Yeah, I just
where to
would,
go from here
yeah,
type question.
I have been disappointed in the results. I really thought that they would be able to find grants that we couldn't find from doing the research ourselves.
Right.
That was the whole point, in my opinion, and I don't
I
feel
agree
like
with
that
that.
is what has taken place.
So the question for the raise grant, who would write that if we didn't have Grant Scribe?
I don't know.
It's pretty
It's very in-depth.
in-depth.
That was the one last year, if you recall, or we were told basically we'd get it if we applied, and we didn't. So grants are really good to talk about, and they're a good thing, but on a realistic level, you can't compare a municipality to a tribal government because their grant strategies are totally different. And one of the issues with grants, there's two issues, main issues. One is the match, which larger communities have. And the second issue is the administration of the grant once you receive it, because Grant Scribe doesn't do any administration. So if the library trust receives the NEH grant, somebody, maybe the librarian's gonna have to figure out how to manage that grant, and that's in depth. I mean, you have to do wage studies, you have to follow federal purchasing rules. It's a thing.
I was a part of a 3-year grant for the school, and it was millions of dollars and very extensive, and every year someone was in charge of that, and we even got a stipend for administering the grant because there was such extra work outside of our job duties. So Yeah, it's very intense. Labor
I'm not
intensive.
saying, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't value grants, because I write grants. But you have to be selective, and you have to have people to do the work, and/or you have to have the match. You know, if the NEH grant comes through, you could say we spent 10 or 11,000 by that time to get 150,000. It's a pretty good investment. And then you have to figure in where do you get the other 150 to match it, because it's a 1-to-1 match.
Because there's only 40 in there right now.
And you know, and I spoke to the library trust. One of the issues we've been running into with finding grants, and this is with the librarian looking and grant scribe, is if you don't have a library, there's grants for libraries. If you have a library, it's a little more difficult to justify building a library if you have a library. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That's just the reality of it. So. We could, you know, the question is out there right now, do we want to apply for the RAISE grant again? And I don't know the answer to that. I think there'd be time in February. I think it's due February 28th. And I think part of that's going to be the appetite for the commission to go through another huge project, a road project, drainage project, and whether or not that's something, you know, anybody has an appetite for at that time. If you win, I think there was,
Agenda item.
yeah.
Yes,
there was-
I was just getting ready to say that could.
Along
have it
along the
all.
grant lines, I think there were 2 awarded in Oklahoma, the RAISE.
Wow.
But the other thing that's going on now is when I talk about administering grants, is there's all this federal money, the ARPA money from the feds, from the state, from the tribe, that somebody's going to have to administer, and we're trying to, you know, we've been applying for. But well, I mean, we have a whiteboard 3 times the size of that one outside my office, just with opportunities on it, because there's so much. I mean, you can't hardly wrap your head around it. And where do you go? What do you do? I don't know. It's a very good problem, but it's still a problem.
Sounds like a special meeting brainstorming time.
So I said maybe one of our quarterly meetings.
Huh?
I said, yeah, that would be a good topic for our quarterly meeting,
Yes, it would be.
or what are we calling, work session.
So in terms of renewing the contract with GrantScribe, it sounds like it's a problem. Our problem is not identifying grants. It would be if we were to obtain them, how do we administer them? And in my opinion, the cost to renew our contract with GrantScribe would be better used in funding the administration of those grants somehow.
Is this an automatic renew?
Yeah, it terminates tomorrow unless extended by a mutual agreement. So unless you vote to extend it, it will terminate. That does not mean that Bob can't go negotiate something new and bring it back to you.
There's also in point 3B, either GS or the client may terminate this agreement at any time for any reason by the delivery of 30 days written notice to the other party.
That would be during the 1-year term.
During the 1-year
Since we're
term.
at the end of the 1-year term, as long as we don't
Got you?
renew it, it will expire on its own.
Oh, okay.
I just had great hope that they were gonna help us find something we didn't know about, and they haven't succeeded in that. And I feel like that's not worth my time or energy at that point again. I don't feel like they came through with the promise that I thought they were gonna be. I mean, I thought it was a good opportunity, and I don't feel like it's come to fruition.
It was maybe a lot of money, but it was a useful exercise because it showed staff they already knew what they were doing.
Oh, I think at this point it was not a waste of money. I think continuing further might possibly be. Because you don't know until you try sometimes. And then there were benefits that came out of it. And we still have a possibility of another benefit to come out of it.
Would it take an action, or no action, would just let it expire, and then if I were to contact them and say that the commission took no action because we didn't get anything in return, then maybe bring something back in February if there's something that's more palatable?
That's always an option.
That's a great idea.
Sure, if you're willing to negotiate.
So we're gonna
Love
go
that idea.
a no action on item 8.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Reread it to make
It
sure.
would be better to take the action of not extending the contract so that it's very clear that you took an action one way or the other.
Okay.
So I
Does that make
make,
sense, like a motion?
okay, so I make a motion that we do not extend the contract with Grant Stride and allow the city manager to contact them on that action. Is that worded okay?
I'll second.
Can you reread it back when you get it written? Just to make sure.
Yes. The mayor moved to not extend the contract with Grant Scribe and to allow the city manager to contact them regarding a future contract.
You can take the word allow out, but
No.
Take the word allow out. What'd you say?
I mean, he can do it without my information.
And ask the city manager to contact?
Yeah.
Would you like that one?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox.
Who seconded it?
Autumn did.
Okay. Mayor?
Yes.
Autumn?
Yes, ma'am.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Number 9, consideration, discussion, and possible action to acknowledge fiscal year 2023-2024 budget schedule. Wow, we're just moving right along. Staff report on that. Pretty self-explanatory.
The budget, yeah, you can talk about it. The budget calendar is kind of what we try to stick with every year. Basically changes to make sure we meet state law. It's very busy for Rachel. And in part of it, a little bit off topic, but I'll be off for a couple weeks around February 26th, January 26th, to get to February 9th for surgery. So, but, I mean, I'll have my phone. Nothing earth shattering, just my heel. It's not my head. Not my head.
Plates.
Hopefully.
Yes. And I just might add that the budget calendar is included in the budget policy, which is on the Google Drive, so if you would like to look at the policy, because it's super fun. I highly encourage you to.
Rachel made it funny.
This allows you time to get everything completed appropriately.
It does, yes, thank you. Actually, we tried, several years ago in a budget class, Marcy Twyman, who's with Crawford and Associates, and is a huge accounting firm that specializes in municipal accounting in Oklahoma City. She teaches this budget class every year. But she recommends to smaller communities that don't have as many staff to do separate things, to try to back your budget up. It's really not due until June, but we're also trying to close the fiscal year in June, and get everything paid and purchase orders closed, blah, blah, blah. So it's really great for us to be able to submit, to finish it in May, and then we've still got June to do the other half of the year.
I like it being ahead. Thank you, dear.
A lot of hard work with that.
I make a motion that we acknowledge and approve the fiscal year budget schedule for 2023, 2024.
I'll second it.
Mayor?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Yes.
Item agenda number 10, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve expense in the amount of $17,65 to Midstate Traffic Control Incorporated for repairs to traffic signals located at Highway 77, Highway 33, Main Street, Highway 33, and Main Street, Kirk Freeman Streets, utilizing the American Rescue Act Plan or ARPA funds. Mr. Ernst.
So we've historically had issues with the intersection of Main and 33. When the OG&E was in town, we lost all power and none of our battery backups worked. We currently have a maintenance agreement with Signal Tech that runs through April, where they come out and check everything once a year and make sure it's up to par, and evidently either, I don't know what happened, but none of them worked. So that's a debate that Signal Tech and I have been having. So I felt like I needed to get a second opinion, so I contacted Midstate Traffic Control. We actually put it out to the whole state to find out who people used, and we only got 2 responses, basically, Signal Tech and Midstate. So I contacted Midstate, and their quote came in cheaper for the inverters and for the 2 intersections, and then on the 3rd intersection, which is out by Ampride, Midstate said the loop detector is bad, which it is, and I've known about it for a year. Signal Tech said it couldn't be repaired. So this guy said, well, yeah, it can be repaired, I can do it, it's fine.
And the Ampride one is actually in the capital improvement plan.
Yeah.
As part of being fixed on that.
Yeah.
And it just stated that it didn't have an estimated cost yet on that.
So, what's the matter?
Teach PE.
But I would recommend using the Midstate Traffic Control. While the overall cost is a little bit higher, it's more work. I mean, they're charging us $28.70 for the inverters that Signal Tech is charging $4,500 for.
That cost was, I saw that and I was like, what?
And then we will address,
Signal Text must be made out of gold or something.
I will address the maintenance agreement. I'll bring it before the commission.
So we can have Signal Tech on the next agenda or a future agenda coming up?
Yep.
Do they have like a log of when they've been here supposedly? Is that?
Yes, but it's possible, although I would suspect the odds are very low, that after the guy left, all 3 went bad very quickly.
I mean, it's feasible. Things have
I
happened.
thought the exact same thing.
No, Midstate, I do not believe has a maintenance plan, because basically it's coming out once a year and replacing an air filter and looking in the cabinet. And
You
it's,
can learn how to do that right.
that's what'll happen.
I'm sorry. Sarcastic mayor.
But I just felt better when the gentleman from Midstate was here. He also, when he was, the intersection at McDonald's was at what they call maximum recall because one of the cameras is out for northbound traffic. The camera went out, so it reverts to a time system. Well, it was at maximum recall, and the guy that came from Midstate changed one setting by 1 second and cut the recall time in half. So
Yes, I hear turning left is a
he
pain.
knows what he's doing, and
It's Sonic.
I just felt better with
Left at Sonic.
giving that one. I think it's definitely the best option for our money. And as far as ARPA, that's where we don't have any other money set aside for this. We didn't expect the inverters to go bad. Now, could it have been from the power going on and off? But I don't know how you prove it. But if you look, I did speak to the guy from Midstate about that, and this is including putting surge arresters prior to the inverters,
Okay.
which wasn't brought up on the other one.
So they weren't already on there?
There's surge arresters in the cabinet, but for some reason, it's not before the inverter, it's after the inverter. The state uses the lowest bids when they build highways, because it's the law. It's not anything anybody did wrong, but I think this is some of the stuff you run into.
Sounds to me like mid-state's taking.
What should Signal Tech have caught that? On their monthly check, shouldn't Signal Tech have caught that?
Well, no, that's how it was spec'd out.
Okay, all right.
They could have recommended something, and chose not to, and that's
Yes, that's
not a
good.
bad.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you for your very clear explanation of that, Bob. Commissioners, anybody have any more questions?
Yeah, sounds good.
Good?
Good to go.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve, do what?
It's usually this one over here.
Oh, well, go right ahead if you want it.
No, she's ready for your second.
I don't care.
Oh,
To say one word or many words?
however you would like to do it. Go right ahead. Go right ahead, I don't care.
I make a motion to approve the expense in the amount of $17,065 to Midstate Traffic Control for the repairs to traffic signals located at Highway 177 and Highway 33, Main Street and Highway 33, and Main Street and Kirk Freeman Streets, utilizing the ARPA funds.
I'll second.
I gave that to you.
I appreciate it. That was a softball and I knocked it out of the park.
You really did. You did great.
Sarah,
Yes.
Autumn, Mayor,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes, ma'am.
You two are awesome. Okay, number 11, consideration, discussion, and possible action to review letters of interest and select a candidate for Perkins Industrial Development Authority Trust 1, appointed trustee position with term ending April 30th, 2023.
3 more months and you can start a new year. New term.
That look should be a GIF, like, said seriously? Be a GIF. Okay, so.
So nobody wants to play.
Nobody wants to play. Unfortunate. So no action. Moving on to number 12. Consideration, discussion, and possible action to review letters of interest and select candidates for Perkins Library Board 2 advisory positions. We've got no responses on that one. I thought it was just one.
Nope. I don't remember what happened.
I'll have to look back at my notes.
I think somebody's term expired. I'm so sorry, I can't remember.
I resigned.
Oh, that's right.
Because you're not on the library board, you're on the library trust.
She's on.
That's what we were talking
She
about.
was the library board appointee, but she's not a member of the library board.
Oh, I thought we were on. Oh, I thought we were, yeah, no, I'm not on library board, I'm thinking library trust.
Okay, so I think I'm understanding. The library board appoints, for that trust, the library board appoints certain people to the trust. We appoint certain people. So you were appointed by the library board, is this correct, Sarah? By the library board to the trust,
Yes, I got confused as
but
well.
not a member of the library board.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my confusion.
Okay, no action. Going on to 13. New business. Under the Open Meeting Act, this agenda item is authorized only for matters not known about or which could have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda or any revised agenda. Nada. Number 14. Who would like to motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll
A
second.
second.
Tell the mayor for a second, will you?
Ma'am.
Autumn was already there.
Autumn.
She was ready.
That was you, right?
ma'am.
I thought it was
I
Autumn.
had it in the bag.
Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Let's do it. Okay. Gotta find my agenda.
one, Mayor? I have one.
Yes, I do, please. It's in the pile. Thank you,
I
dear.
have two.
Gracias. She gave me one. Okay. It's in my pile. It's been mixed around a lot. Perkins Public Works Authority agenda, regular meeting, Tuesday, January 10th. Call to order, roll call, and establish a quorum.
Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Lester? Karen? I'm so sorry, Jason.
Yes, ma'am.
Consideration and action on consent agenda. Commissioners, any questions?
No?
Purchase orders, financial agreements, no. Okay. I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda for the Perkins Public Works Authority.
Second.
Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes?
Autumn?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, number 3 is no action. Number 4, public appearances, petitions, communications, and personal appearances under Oklahoma law. The board members are prohibited from discussing or taking any action on items not on today's agenda. Anything else come up? Yes. No action. There we go. 5, sorry. New business. Under the Open Meeting Act, this agenda item is authorized only for matters not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda or any revised agenda. No action? Need some coffee?
Yes.
She needs cookies and you need coffee? All right, number 6, I make a motion that we adjourn the Perkins Public Works Authority regular meeting, January 10th, 2023.
I'll second.
I purposely stayed quiet.
I was like, not doing it, we're not doing it.
I was just sitting here waiting to see what was gonna happen.
Mayor?
Yes.
Said it, so.
And I got wordy on my
Yes, ma'am.
adjournment just for that reason.
Yes.
Autumn?
Yes, ma'am.
You just missed
I
one.
noticed how you drug that out too, by the way, Mayor.
I was waiting for one of you two to jump at it, neither one of you did, so.
Adjourned.
I wasn't gonna get accused of foul play.
Yeah, you guys are just grinching me. It was
Well,
just
I was waiting on one of you to
opposite.
jump in before I was.